Perfect. All right. Looks like we have a bunch of people here already. I will make up for this and try to take some notes. So we have the 17th of September, and we don't have much on the agenda for today. It's mostly just review of action items from last time. If you have anything, please add it to the document. Which is here. But maybe before we go, I noticed that we have a couple of new folks on the call. Maybe you just want to say hi and maybe also what your interest is in cluster add-ons.
Yep, I'll jump in. So I'm Cornelia Davis, work for Pivotal, work on kind of architecture and emerging tech and helping our customers and partners tied to business value. Have been working on Pivotal Container Service, so PKS, for the last 2.5 years. And I'm keenly interested in continuing to build out a platform for building platforms. And so cluster add-ons, I don't know very much about it, but I had like an opening in my calendar this morning and I was like, oh, I'll join this to see what's going on, because cluster add-ons sound very, very interesting in terms of crafting your own, what does Kubernetes mean for you? So, and if I'm totally off on that, then I'll keep recording, but let me know I should go somewhere else.
Thank you. Everyone else is old faces. Okay. So yeah, well, Fabrizio is still typing. Justin, I don't know, are you here or are you not? You said you were in some other meeting right now.
I am here. I'm just joining by phone. Probably on not a great connection. I think I had 2 action items from last time, one of which was integrate COPS, which I have not done, but the other one is the KubeBuilder PR, which we did finally get merged in. It is gated behind a feature flag, and it uses a plugin model, which we are currently iterating on in Tree. But yes, so that took longer than I expected to, but it is merged, and I hope there will be other plugins that go into KubeBuilder, and undoubtedly there will be fixes that we or anyone can make to that plugin. But yeah, I'm going to try to continue with sort of the master plan, which is to create an operator and get it like going in COPS, build some experience there, and like then hopefully get it into, or from my perspective then, but anyone else is welcome to go in a different order, get it into KubeADM and other things. But I'm going to start with COPS because that's what I'm familiar with.
Yeah, well done for landing the PR there. Are we now sort of waiting on a, yes, are we now waiting for a release of KubeBuilder, or is it strictly necessary?
It's you would have to build from head, I believe, if you wanted to do that. It is behind a feature flag anyway. I suspect there will be bugs there, so we're not going to push. I'm not pushing for a release. But if you build from head, it should work. Or should at least have the functionality available.
Okay. Yeah, was just
with that, like, there's a lot of, like, is there a lot of docs, any docs that we should write as like a quick guide for like this sort of group to consume it, or is it just pretty straightforward?
So I think it probably is relatively similar to the docs we had at some stage for when using the patched version of KubeBuilder where we built it in with the flag. We should update those docs because they've likely changed a little bit in terms of being set this environment variable, which activates the feature flag. But that should be, we should be able to update the docs on our side, and I think that's probably I think that's the right thing to do for now, and then we can look at getting those docs also into KubeBuilder once we are happy everything works. But yeah, if anyone wants to take that on, that would be a wonderful way to get first starter type PR or
And so once we've checking out the bugs, you said it would likely be buggy still. Would need to move our operator to version 2 of KubeBuilder, right? And then we could start documenting it and do all the other stuff. We have that.
I think Jeff in the past already did that. The bigger change was moving to controller runtime v0.2, but the code it generates should be the same. So hopefully there's no. It was mostly a matter of figuring out a mechanism which KubeBuilder could accept in terms of how they have plugins, and we've got over that hump, and I'm not sure what is spotted along the way or what's not, what broke along the way.
Cool. Yeah, if you want, I can check what kind of code it generates and see how big the difference are to the core continuous operator we have, and report back. Cool. Yeah, I think everything else on the agenda was kubeadm related. Fabrizio, do you want to?
Yes, a quick PSA for this group. Tomorrow there will be planning for kubeadmin for the next cycle, and we will discuss also a possible cut of the kubeadmin config. And a candidate change for the kubeadmin config is the integration with the Addon installer. So the question for this group is if and what do you think we can achieve during 1.17 for the Addon installer, especially trying to be really concrete is if we can foresee that the Addon installer for kubeproxy and for core DNS will be ready in the next cycle.
I would say we could do that. I'm planning to start with Node local DNS, but I think one of the things one of the goals is to do other things. So if you would rather do core DNS and or kubeproxy, we should create those operators also and see that they work. I think that would be great. But yeah, I think getting people would probably still be feature flagged, I guess. But that's
yeah. At least for me, you're really cutting out, Justin.
Yeah, same here. Maybe
Yeah.
turn off the video and then try again the last 2 sentences, maybe.
Sorry, it sounds great for 117, and I was going to do Node local DNS, but I think we could also try to do core DNS and kubeproxy and have those available, and so the kubeadm is not blocked on integrating those, or at least behind a feature flag.
Okay, I understand. So giving a little bit more context from kubeadmin perspective, I think that we should go initially for something which is equivalent with what we have today, but uses the Addon installer. And when we are settled with this, we can let the user choose different add-ons. This is why I'm asking for kubeproxy and core DNS, because they are what the user have today.
I mean, that sounds reasonable to me. I think, yeah, we should certainly build them out. I like the idea of using the configuration that kubeadm has today to make sure that it is sort of at parity. And I think that should extend also to the manifest itself, right? We should try to make sure it is exactly identical manifest, or at least broadly identical manifest is created.
Yeah, that's the goal. So if we have to make changes to the kubeadmin config in order that it acts as a proxy for the add-on installer config, we should make it happen at the beginning of the cycle.
So I guess we should, the action item is we should try to make sure that we have a core DNS, a kube proxy, and ideally a node local DNS, speaking selfishly, as sort of the like 3 examples that we try to, or 3 real examples that we try to get going like ASAP, ideally in the next 2 weeks.
Yes, of course. Now we should agree that that is something that we can achieve, and then we have to figure out how. So yes, but I agree with you that as soon as we start, as more chance we have to get it done right before the end of the cycle. Because if we wait too late, then there is KubeCon, so it starts getting hairy.
Yeah, I would be happy to try to do those 3. I think other people might also want to. So if no one else wants to, I can do them. But I imagine other people might also want to start playing with it and like, I don't want to take steal anyone's thunder, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, with the new add-on patterns, you're going to be the person who's most familiar. If somebody else wants to jump on that, hopefully it's simple enough to attack. What I need to get back to probably next week is finishing up the kubeadm integration example for the installer portion of this, so that we can use the component config in the kubeadm to describe the operators that are going to be installed. And then once I get that up, I'll be open to help out.
Okay, great. So we can go back to the document where we listed where we discussed all the nuances about the integration, of air-gapped environment and everything else we discussed.
Yeah. Thank you for all of the input on that document. That's been a helpful discussion. I haven't seen any major roadblocks with what I have on paper, versus like what that document's kind of intending and describing for. It has surfaced some additional use cases that I'm gonna accommodate for the first stab at it. But I think it is important that we have something that's working, that we can iterate on.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I guess just to clarify, I'm just trying to prioritize like getting the plumbing to actually just work, and then let's do everything we can to accommodate a good UX.
Yes. What is important for me is tomorrow at planning, keeping this into the agenda and with a good priority.
I will be sure to attend the kubeadm planning.
Thank you.
And then with regard to prioritizing operator development for kubeadm specifically, instead of from the COPS perspective, I think we could probably even just start out with just the core DNS operator, since that's the main default. And
I can try and help with the core DNS one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, just be sure to make a note of reaching out to anyone you need to, and yeah, please just use the documents and issues to indicate that you're working on it. We would love for you to help.
Okay, cool.
Great. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
I would like to field this for discussion. Maybe Justin has some thoughts. But from what I was reading, I looked into the structure of Node Local DNS for a little bit, like a few months ago, and I didn't see a platform agnostic way to deploy the solution in an HA manner, meaning that when the Node Local DNS pod restarts, that there is a mechanism for DNS to still succeed to pods on on the shared node. And there are a few mechanisms that are like specific to IP tables. I think that's the primary one. There are also ideas of like using multiple daemon sets or falling back to kubeproxy, falling back to a central DNS in the cluster and switching that on intentionally during an upgrade. All of these require some orchestration, which are definitely ripe for the operator use case. But I'm curious what your thoughts are in this area, Justin.
I guess I was imagining that we wouldn't sort of editorialize, that like we wouldn't try to do anything particularly much better. So if Node Local doesn't offer this, we shouldn't like necessarily go further. But I basically haven't. I was going to try exactly some of the things you talked about, like multiple daemon sets and that sort of thing. I think that would be, if we can do better because we're doing it because we have an operator, I think that's great. But if we can't, I think that's okay. We shouldn't like say we're not going to do an operator for something because it has some scenario that we don't like, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. It's not like a blocking functionality. It's more of a nice to have operator use case that I'm curious where your thoughts were.
Yeah, I honestly haven't looked at it enough. I agree it's important, and I will. If I take on the Node Local one, I will look at that at the same time. Like, what is the semantics when a daemon or the daemon pod fails?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt to field the question, but well, yeah, when I looked at it, I realized that there were dragons there. So just thought that would be an interesting thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I actually reviewed I did review the original like PR, and I think what we sort of realized is we could put in a lot of machinery, but it's not necessarily better than just restarting quickly. Like you could and there are exceptions to this, but like you could try to create like a load balancer pod that like does this, but you're doing a lot of work, and it felt like just restarting quickly would probably be the best strategy. But I can look at that again.
Cool. Anything else?
Is it worth mentioning the user story document that you started writing?
Yeah, I didn't have much time to finish it. So what Lee and I did was trying to figure out what kind of user stories do we have. Like we have, I was wondering if that would help us structuring, what we have, what code needs to be written, how close we are. So we would look at things from a general user standpoint. We would look at from an operator standpoint, maintainer standpoint, and come up with things like, install a simple cluster or create a simple cluster. And if there's things that use add-on operators, use those. Like general user doesn't really care or will notice. And also use cases like updating or finding a specific operator or the air gap scenario. I mean, there's like a lot if you start thinking about it. And my idea was like that we would start collecting them and then maybe just start writing up like small scripts, like even if it's, you know, pseudo code or pseudo anything, it doesn't do much yet, just so everyone can imagine, so this is the steps we would take. And then we could sort of look at this and see how close are we, or which, you know, other SIGs or working groups do we need to talk to, that kind of thing. So yeah, more or less, Lee were just toying with the idea for half an hour, and I probably spent another half an hour on it, but I didn't get anywhere much yet. I guess I'll present whatever I come up with, or we come up with, the next time.
Sounds good. If anyone wants to contribute to that process, just let us know. Certainly more of the project management, and might be a good window for somebody to also get up to date on what's going on with Addons.
Absolutely. I think that could also be a, like, once we get a bit closer, we organize ourselves a bit better in that regard, that it will probably attract some people to realize, okay, these folks are actually up to something, onto something. I'll keep you posted. Cool. Cornelia, what's your gut feeling? Did you end up in the wrong or in the right call?
The right call.
Sweet.
Most definitely. And I admit that as you've been talking about some of these low-level things that I can't follow, that I've been using the time to poke around in the repositories, and I'm definitely on the right call.
Cool, cool, excellent. All right. Yeah, if nobody has anything else, I think we can wrap it up, and Cornelia and I will figure out how to get the video transferred. Thanks again.
Of course.
All right. See you in 2 weeks then.
All right. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks, everyone.